Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Compliance Clips with your hosts, Rick Morgan and myself, John Farquhar, where today we're going to talk about, well, sometimes it can be a controversial topic, wouldn't you say, Rick? You know,
Everything's controversial in
this
compliance,
is
dude.
this is true. This is
It's like,
true.
do it? No, I don't want to do it. Nope.
Yep,
Yes, there's your controversy, right?
exactly. So today we're going to talk about that good old annual review.
Annual review.
Obligation or opportunity? Well, let's go down that path and find out.
Doors open.
Doors open. So, all right. So, when we talk about the annual review, is it a
Yes.
compliance chore or is it a performance lever?
Well, that's a decision up to the individual doing the task.
Mm-hmm.
I can certainly tell you that when I first got introduced to it, it was a compliance chore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, now let's turn this review into a development loop here where,
Ooh.
what can we do?
Now
What
you're
would
talking.
change when we review the focuses on coaching opportunities?
So, yeah, you'd almost think that I dropped a little ding
You
on
think,
your
but
table.
you
But
didn't.
it as I matured over my career and as I started realizing that there's different approaches to building a quality driver program, and I got away from the purely disciplinarian that we get exposed to when we're new. Everybody gets taught on how to discipline, right?
Right.
And as I started looking that this was not being effective,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was meeting my due diligence guidelines, but I wasn't changing the behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, so, I started talking with other really wise people in the industry, and it's like, what can I do to do this? So as I started moving away from purely disciplinarian to identifying, the root cause, what causes behavior,
Sure.
and understanding through interviews with the driver why that root cause happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then we identified specific coaching solutions using
Right.
internal or external resources to
Sure.
spend time with that driver
Mm-hmm.
to show them what they could do differently. To your point
Sure.
that I've heard you say repeatedly, very few drivers intentionally want to be bad.
Right.
They just, no one has sat down
Yep.
and taken the opportunity to
Sure.
explain them, hey, this behavior will produce this result, which will keep you out of that man's office.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, or at least the at least make the engagement more of a positive relationship rather than a negative. The carrot versus the stick approach. So yeah.
So yeah, what
Yeah.
I ended up doing was I actually got a hold of a gentleman who'd been in the industry very long time and had a fantastic personality and great ability to connect with drivers, and I put him in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So I had, at this time about 30, 40 drivers, and what I would do is 2 months before the annual review were due, I'd hire him pretty well exclusively.
Sure.
And I'd say, I need you 2 or 3 days a week for the next period of time.
Yep.
You're just going to go ride with my drivers one after
Yep.
another, 3 to 6 hours per driver.
Sure.
Depending on the scenario. No, some of the guys were going longer trips, and you'd actually have to kind of create an opportunity for this assessment. And he would sit down, and because he drove and because he was actually a part of a school that trained drivers a really long time ago, known as Markel, located down in Guelph, he knew how to connect. And he would sit with the driver for the time, and he wouldn't talk anything about what the driver was doing when he was driving. He's engaging with him, he's speaking with him.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the assessment, he'd sit down and he'd have a debrief. And he'd tell him all the things that he's doing great. He'd say, you know what, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And here's a couple of things that you might want to consider introducing that'll make it even better. And interestingly enough, the first year I didn't get a lot of feedback because everyone was just kind of like, what is this, right?
Sure.
But the second, third, fourth years, I started getting really positive feedback from my drivers. It's like, hey, this guy taught me this, which has been made my driving so much better. And this ranges from guys who had, the minimum 3 years experience that we were qualifying there. All the guys had 30 years, and guys who have been owner operators who would come to me and they would say, yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed that. He pointed out this, and this. So what did that do? That built that bridge of connectivity that I was talking to you about. You asked me about at the opening,
right?
Where all of a sudden the relationship with the team changed from one of disciplinarian to worker to a team,
right,
working together to produce the best results. I was invested in making that driver's life easier, more affordable, less negative interactions with the enforcement folks, lower accidents. So guess what happened over time? So that's what changes.
This sounds like this fella or this system could be the driver whisperer.
Yeah, he was. You know what?
Yeah.
And I actually, interestingly enough, you'd asked about outside or third party. I actually had him go out with someone who was working for me and took on the driver supervisor role, so that he showed that individual how to do it and what to do.
Yep.
And they became my in-house instructor that adopted the same policies and the same approach. And guess what happened with my driver relations? They got better and better and better.
Teamwork.
So let me turn the tables and say to you, Mr. Farquhar, as the risk assessor, you're walking into a carrier and you've got one carrier that you're looking at the driver files in their annual review is just the statement that shows up with a signature at the bottom. And you're looking at the other carrier that has multiple documents attached to it. They've got a corrective action. They got a training and development. And you've got a copy of the road test done by a third party that shows that the discussions that were held and the elements that were discussed. What does your underwriter think about that when you take it back to the office?
Right away, they're thinking commitment, involvement, improved culture. They're not thinking compliance. They're thinking well above compliance, knowing that, wow, this company is going above and beyond, which is the kind of companies that underwriters want to partner with. People that think outside the box.
You're going to have a lot of opportunity when you go to market.
Oh God, yes, big time. Oh yeah. We're gonna have underwriters. You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna have underwriters and insurers fighting for this type of business, because obviously, with that, your carrier profiles are going to show the performances, what's going on, and having a 0 CVOR as an example is not the end all be all, because it raises a lot of questions. Why is it 0? What have you done to achieve 0? That is what underwriters start to question. Because you have 14%, not going to raise the questions as much. But to have a 0, people are going to go, okay, you've had to do something extraordinary to achieve that and hold that for a length of time. What have you done? And that's what's really key.
So what do you think that most of the safety managers who have got this far and watching us are thinking to themselves right now about a time and a cost commitment of this program?
Well, that's where it comes into that ROI, right? That return on investment, as it is.
I'll share, because for my program, one of the funny things that happened to me is as this program became more and more mature and more embedded, and I started building into it driver recognitions and awards for safe performance, the amount of time that I had to spend responding to events, collisions, citations dropped dramatically. So did my costs associated with it. So my deductibles, my out of service, my administrative time, my dispatcher time, my recovering the loads time, all dropped dramatically.
Wow.
So, today's deductibles, $20,000, $25,000, $50,000.
Yep.
One accident going to pay for 20 or 30 drivers. You eliminate one accident.
Yep.
You eliminate 2, you're actually in a profit position.
Yep.
And I can assure you from my experience, you will eliminate 2. Never mind the paralegal fees, which are significantly lower, but they occur, $500 a pop, $500 a pop, $500 a pop, and then you've got the citations and the fines on top of that.
Exactly. Those are all cost factors because we want to fight those so that we don't have the points on our carrier profiles. But at the same time, it comes with a cost because somebody didn't do the simple task of their job. So you're spot on. Educate, coach the drivers a little bit more, reduce those opportunities, put that money back in your pocket.
And now your relationship with your company culture also changes.
Correct.
The confrontation, the antagonism all gets reduced. Performance goes up. Happier drivers make for happier customers. Happier customers make for more customers.
Exactly.
And lower costs make for improved profits.
Exactly. So this is all great stuff we've talked about, but you know what? Let's talk about the objections and the rollout because it all sounds good, Rick, but what am I looking at? Like, what's it going to cost me to do this? How much time is it going to take? Come Monday morning, what do I do? Where do I start? What happens?
Start slowly, like everything else. You don't climb a mountain in one step. If you've got your individual drivers who you're doing your interviews with already because of your reacting, think to yourself, what can I do differently to change my outcome? If I was that driver, what would I want to be subject to? John, go sit down at home and watch this video on how to drive defensively and then fill out this form. Is that going to make you correct what you're doing?
No, it's probably going to tick me off.
But I'm going to have to pay for that course, right? It's going to be $150, $200, and then I got to do all this. So, take one of your, if you're a large carrier and you've got your driver trainers resident in there, you got one of your leaders, take one of those, put them in the jump seat for the day. If you don't have that, hire a good quality driver trainer assessor who's got the right personality. Sit them in there, get them to go out for a couple hours, find out, talk to him, tell him what happened, do the exploration, fill them in, tell them what you're looking for and what your outcome is, and then work with the driver. Like, don't just discipline them, throw them out the door and give them the keys. Right? It's like, hey, look, how, and I would actually ask them, hey, how did that trip go? Was there anything in there that's helpful? Did you find that there was something that you could help? Is there anything else I can do for you? When you start to show interest, is it going to take time? Yeah, it's going to take time. But for every 30 minutes I spend now, I'm going to save myself, and this is, just based on my experience, 3 hours in the next 3 months.
Wow. Not to mention, I'm going to have better interaction. I, as a driver, am going to feel better about that interaction than sitting in front of a computer screen, taking some silly test or training program that I'm not sure why I'm taking this in the first place.
You know what else it does? It improves your recruiting.
Yes, big time.
Because a driver sitting around in a truck stop, if you got a driver who's looking at work and going somewhere else, what's the first thing he does? Hey, I see you drive for X. What's it like there? Oh, exactly. Hey, it's great, man. You know what? They invest in you. They spend time with you. They train you. Or, I got to keep doing this training because they keep telling me I'm doing this wrong. So, right? No, true. What's your payback?
So annual review then. Sounds like there's a lot. Obligation or opportunity?
Yeah, it's an annual opportunity for sure. Like you make it what you want to make it. You can make it profitable, or you can make it a compliance checklist. I'm done. The amount of energy you put in is going to give you the results out. It's that simple. Like everything else.
Wow. So lots to digest, but lots of positives out of this process. This is really, really good. You know what? And it doesn't sound like it's rocket science.
It's only rocket science if you've been trained to think another way, right? The challenge is, I think, in a lot of ways, the the knee-jerk response to any event is, for many people, to just say, don't do that again.
Right.
Whereas the, corrective behaviors are better achieved by showing people how they can get better and how they can make their life better. So, you choose.
Okay. But this becomes more than just an annual review. That's the title of it. But the bonus thing is it reaches out to so many different areas of your organization for improvement.
Called professional development.
Exactly.
You're making your guys the absolute best on the highway. And when you sit in front of a room and you can sit there and you can say to them, guys, the changes that you have invested your energies in, all of the things that you've been willing to do have made us one of the safest and best carriers on the highway, which means you are some of the best out there. Is really rewarding.
Yep. Big time. Big time. So, folks, I see you out there. Remember, you too can do this. It's not that hard. So, questions, need assistance? Feel free, reach out to Rick or I. We'd be more than happy to get you on the right path.
You bet.